Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I'm going to be talking a little bit about distraction and what's involved in that process and why we get so stuck in that usually, where it becomes something that we had an advantage with, and then we end up getting ourselves in a cycle where it became a benefit initially, but then we try and apply it too much. Now, where that relates is in the short term, distraction can have a benefit. You could keep yourself distracted about something that you're very anxious about, and very quickly you could probably find that you're getting a little bit of relief. So Aaron Beck, who was one of the founders of CBT with Albert Ellis, always said, distraction has its short term benefits, but the problem is when it starts to get used long term. You can we always say bring it for the ride, allow it to come along with you, don't try and get rid of it. That's something that that we're always suggesting, that we live our life as usual like normal humans that are just walking down the street not thinking, what do I have to think, what do I need to do with these thoughts. They don't do that, they just walk down the street. Now, distraction is a thing like that where it's part of sort of the healthy life cycle of going through life, learning to bring it along. But we get stuck when we're starting to run from it. We're starting to apply it all the time. And we're trying to I've got to constantly keep myself distracted. All right, I was watching TV, now I've got to read a book, now I've got to do this, now I've got to do that. And then because we're constantly doing that, that's what ends up getting ourselves stuck. Okay, so we want to be very, very careful of that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to distract. And also what people do is then when distraction works, they're like, well, how the hell am I going to distract myself at night when I'm asleep or something like that? When I wake up in the middle of the night, I've noticed anxiety there. How do I get away from that? What do I do? And that becomes a very vicious cycle of running away, trying to escape that anxiety all the time. And we really don't want to get in that position because it's so counterproductive. You can't wake up in the night, feel anxiety, then go and watch a film. But you'll see this on countless websites. So many places talk about that, saying things like, if you're suffering from insomnia, get up and go and watch a movie. That's the worst thing you could do. You want to be lying there, just relaxing in bed, not trying to run away from it. Just lying there, relaxing the body. If you go to sleep, you go to sleep. If you don't, you don't. And that's as far as you want to go with it. But the problem is people are so scared of anxiety, they want to sort of run away to avoid it. And that's very much the case with generalized anxiety disorder. With generalized anxiety disorder, what happens is people are so scared of feeling the sensations because it's rather chronic in a format, in sort of how it's sort of physically waxing and waning in the body. And so they're then trying to get rid of that. And when they're active and they're busy in the day, they don't notice it. So they then associate that as being the time and the way they want to be all the time. So when they're in bed at night, obviously your body is just in bed. It can feel that anxiety, and nighttime and early morning is when anxiety often tends to be worse. So they can feel it, they want to get rid of it, they hate it, they think they're worse. Then they keep grabbing their phone because you get a kind of sense of relaxation when you're touching the phone. So then they're constantly chasing on the phone, lying in bed doing that back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. And that is just a cycle. You want to put down all phones when you get into bed, right? We don't want any phones in bed, we don't want any laptops in bed. And that is the problem. That is what causes so much of the cycle. And I think realistically, one of the biggest problems is when anyone feels any relief with anxiety in any way, what they then tend to do is they then tend to go and chase that thing. So initially it's a compulsion. They notice the difference when they do a compulsion. They notice the relief, so then they go back to it and chase it. And the same with distraction. When they notice the benefit from the distraction, they keep chasing it. And this used to be a disaster sort of 10 years ago when there was loads of ebooks online talking about constant distraction, which sort of took the words of Claire Weekes out of context. And people were sort of doing one thing like playing the guitar and then encouraged to run and go for a run, and then encouraged to read a book, then encouraged to watch a film, and with the idea that they could constantly stay distracted 24/7 all the time. And that's not possible. You're never going to be able to achieve that. You're not going to be able to do it. And I, for one, tried that for years because I was so fed up with feeling this physical anxiety. But it doesn't work. That is not the way out. That's not the way you're going to recover. So I just wanted to come on here very briefly and do a short video to talk about distraction and why we need to be careful with that cycle, because it's so easy to get into, to look at the benefits of bringing it for the ride, living life as normal and feeling those benefits, but not trying to run from it. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next Instagram Live. Take it easy.